Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christine Binger here to talk to you on behalf of the Kansas City Public School District and review some policies on cyberbullying. In this presentation, we're going to go over clarifying what cyberbullying is, facts and statistics, a couple cases that have gone into court, how you can help our students, and then highlighting some elements of the Kansas City Public Schools policy on cyberbullying. So to start looking at cyberbullying is any form of bullying that takes place using an electronic device. This can take place at school or at home or any other location. Many students and parents seem to think that if the bullying is taking place from home on the computer, it does not apply. However, to be clear, that cyberbullying is anything that takes place electronically that impacts the student's learning. So if it makes a student uncomfortable to come to school, to be around a group of students, anything like that, then it is the job of the school to do something about that. Top 10 forms of cyberbullying would be exclusion, harassment, outing, cyberstalking, frapping, fake profiles, dissing, trickery, trolling, and catfishing. These are the top 10 forms. There are other ones, but these are the most utilized amongst our students. Some facts and statistics. 64% of victims who receive an aggressive instant message say they know the perpetrator from an in-person situation. Next, 18% of teens ages 15 to 17, that would be our high school students, and 11% of our younger teens, so that would be middle school age, have experienced bullies sending private messages. This is probably the number one thing we see in our schools is private messages or pictures that are sent to one person and then that person sends out to the school. That seems to be our biggest area of cyberbullying taking place in our schools. 61% of teens say they were bullied for their physical appearance. This is a huge percentage. This could be making fun of some of our students for their hair, their skin, their body type, anything like that. 56% of online harassment victims reported that they had been harassed on Facebook. While our students say that this is not a quote cool social media platform, it seems to be the most utilized for harassment. This could be because of the pages that students create and fan pages that they can be a part of. More than half of U.S. adults, 53%, who use the internet have dealt with cyberbullying. So that means 53% of our staff could be affected by this. 70% of students from a poll of 2,000 said that someone spread rumors about them online. This goes back to private messages, things like that, where they're talking about other students. And focusing on our LGBT youth, over 12% have experienced cyberbullying. That's a large percentage when you're looking at the population of our LGBTQ students. In looking at where this is taking place, it's overall breaking down through Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat the most, with the lowest areas being WhatsApp, which is like a communication tool, YouTube, and Twitter. This is mostly commentary, making fun of somebody for a video or for something they said or who they are, something they've done. It's a lot of commenting on other students' work. So some of the effects. Some key areas, students become depressed. They start skipping school. They have bad grades, bad health, such as depression. They become the bully or they give up, meaning suicide or attempted suicide. These are the areas we need to be looking at most for our students. So any student who you are seeing these changes negatively, we need to find ways and contact our in-school therapists and communities and schools reps to see what we can do to see why these changes are happening and what's happening with their students so that we can offer help specifically for them. So to look at two cases, the one on the left side is Kolaski versus Berkeley County Schools in 2011. A student was suspended for 10 days, later reduced to 5 for creating an online profile, talking poorly about a peer. That peer that she was talking about then felt uncomfortable at school, so therefore the 10-day, later 5-day suspension was enacted. The student tried to sue the school, saying that she has free speech, she can say whatever she wants. But again, this cyber interaction impacted the school environment and the learning opportunity for the student that was being targeted, making it the school's essentially problem, and therefore consequences ensued. Similarly, with the JS versus Bethlehem Area School District in 2000, a student was expelled for creating a web page that included threatening and derogatory comments towards staff at the individual school. Again, this was a disruption to the school environment, making it very uncomfortable for teachers to be a part of the learning community and be at work and know that this is a possibility. So the school was definitely justified in expelling the student because it was a violation of the staff's rights and became a threat against them. So overall, anything that disrupts the learning environment, whether it be for one student, like in the Kolaski, or a group of individuals, like in the JS case, both of these would fall under cyberbullying cases that we need to be aware of and we are a part of as a school district. What should we try to do to stop cyberbullying? On the left are some suggestions when cyberbullying is taking place, more specifically for the parent. It is our job to communicate with parents things that we are seeing in our students. And these are some suggestions such as the parent should not then engage with the student or the student's parents. They need to understand that they're not the bad guy, and they definitely need to document everything and provide it to the school, or depending on the situation, maybe police interaction as needed. So some do's on the right side, give students a stake, let them feel a part of the good side. Connect and interact, help them find friends, talk to them, make them feel welcome, and develop a positive school culture. If you don't tolerate negative comments towards students in class, it is less likely they will do it online. Some don'ts is to increase formal sanctions, so that would be like detentions and things like that. Similarly, zero tolerance policies where you instantly suspend or expel a student. Instead, we need to find ways to educate them on this, in addition to a potential punishment. And then we don't utilize public shaming. You don't go around and tell everybody that this happened so that then that student feels ganged up on by other people. So the policy at Kansas City Public Schools on cyberbullying is short and sweet. In order to promote a safe learning environment for all students, the Kansas City Public Schools strictly prohibits all forms of bullying and cyberbullying. The district also prohibits reprisal or retaliation against any person who reports an act of bullying among or against students. So it is our job, as specified in our handbook, to intervene to prevent student bullying. So if you see anything in the hallway, it is your job to intervene. You are to appropriately discipline the perpetrator. So if you intervene in a bullying situation, it is not your job to sit there and yell at them. You need to appropriately discipline, which means to hand this off to your administrator and share what you have seen and document what you've witnessed. Assist the victim. That means if you see a student getting bullied in any form, then it is your job to help them, talk to them, communicate, and see what you can do to help prevent the problem or manage the problem. And then lastly, it's your job to report the incident to the building principal for it to be investigated. Oftentimes at this point, it feels like it's out of your hands as a teacher or a staff member, but behind the scenes, things are still happening and you may be utilized or called upon to speak on that. So at that point, the principal has 2 days to start the investigation on the event once it's shared with the principal. That investigation should last no more than 10 days, and a decision needs to be made about what has taken place. So that's 12 days, school day specifically, so that's almost 3 weeks. So this is definitely something that you should maybe follow up on with your principal, especially if it's a reoccurring issue, because it's clearly whatever decisions are being made are not working. Should the policy be violated by district employees and substitutes, meaning if you choose not to intervene if you see bullying or cyberbullying, or you choose to become a part of the problem, the following are things that could take place. Number 1, suspension with or without pay. Number 2, you could receive a negative evaluation. 3, prohibition from being on any district property or district activities. 4, mandated training or other appropriate remedial action. And lastly, you could be terminated. So just know that it is your job to report anything and support students who are being bullied in a positive way, and hopefully create a school culture where this does not continue to happen. If you need any more information, you can visit any of these resources provided. Specifically, resource number 4, resource number 5. Focuses on 10 tips for students. It has a great handout in there that you could put in your classroom if you would like to print that out into a PDF and provide it in your classroom. It's just helpful hints, quick and easy information for your students to know what they can do about bullying. Having this around the school would be a great resource for everybody, so I suggest you do that. If you have any questions, you can contact your building principal, or you can contact the HR department for Kansas City Public Schools. They will be happy to answer any questions, or if you need to report anything, they can take those reports there. Thank you.